It's really great to be here, and I'm going to jump right in. It is the best time to be in cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is top of mind for every customer, every organization, and every individual that we see around the world. And the reason for that is because there are huge investments in this area. There are many investments from hyperscalers like us, investments from governments, and investments from companies. There we go. I recognize that person. Thank you. Okay. So many investments around the world in cybersecurity, and innovation is happening really at a rapid pace. In fact, just at Microsoft, we increased the pace of innovation significantly ever since our engineers started using GitHub Copilot. In the security division, 60% of our engineers use GitHub Copilot to help with coding. That has increased the pace of innovation 3 times, which allows us to really come out with new functionality, new features, and that really allows us to infuse AI much faster into all of our systems. It is also great to be in cybersecurity because there is a shortage of cybersecurity experts. According to the latest data, it's around 3.5 million. 3.5 million cybersecurity roles are open. In fact, I tried to convince my 3 daughters to go into cybersecurity. Unfortunately, I failed in the first 2. The third one, maybe I still have a chance. She's 13, although not showing too much interest so far. So I have to do a better sales job there. But there are 3.5 million jobs open in cybersecurity, which is great, but also a challenge. You are all here because you're concerned about data security, threat protection, and protecting your IP and assets from threat actors in whatever organization that you represent. For that, you need a qualified workforce who can do that, and if you're not able to fill up those roles, that poses a threat. So how can we help organizations like yourselves that you represent to really cut this shortage of talent? And I'll talk a little bit about that. Now, as you see on the screen, there's another reason why cybersecurity is top of mind. Because every single day, threat actors are getting more and more sophisticated, and every single day, there is an article about what latest breach or hack happened in a commercial organization, a nation, or smaller companies. And that is causing trillions of dollars of damage. That 8 trillion number is very big. And to put that into perspective, because the human brain has a problem processing large numbers, I'll put that into perspective. Last year, and this is publicly known, last year in the United States, there was a company that was hacked, which is responsible for 90% of the oil pipeline traffic and gas pipeline traffic on the eastern side of the United States. It was a ransomware attack. Computers were locked. Not only was there, of course, loss to the company in terms of the revenue and their business, but in 2 days, there was a gasoline shortage in large cities on the eastern side of the United States. That is a lot more than dollars lost. Then you have to contend with a very unhappy citizenry, and that can lead to many other huge issues. Another perspective, we often think of these big numbers as these are large corporations and nations that are attacked. But in fact, 70% of human-operated ransomware is going after companies that have less than 500 employees. And those are the companies who are the least protected because they don't have the resources to put in place to protect their environment. And the estimation is that this will rise, the direct impact will cost 24 trillion, which, by the way, is equivalent to the GDP of the United States today. So you can just really understand the sheer size of the risk here. And there's another element, which is the human element, because I know many of you have heard these stories. I hope not too many of you have experienced it themselves. I unfortunately have, when an older relative calls and says, hey, you know, I just got a call from my bank. They asked for some information. I gave it, and then I don't see my pension in my account anymore. Something happened, you know, can you help me? These are, you know, very, very sophisticated social engineering attacks that are going absolutely targeted after individuals, and there's a big human toll. It's not only the money that's lost, there's a big human toll, which then causes a lot of individual stress. We've seen password attacks multiply 8 times over the 12 months, and the threat actors are getting much more persistent and much more sophisticated. And the attack vectors are coming from every direction. As I mentioned, there's a shortage of talent in the industry, and with the advent of AI, we see AI-enabled attacks or AI-driven attacks increased by 47% over the last year. I'm sure many of you have seen the videos online where it only takes 3 seconds to record the voice of an individual, and then that can be transferred into a video with using the face of somebody else and the voice of the original person. So it's very difficult now to tell what is real and what is not. So this is the environment in which we as defenders together need to work. And this is not yet the cybersecurity organizational complexity. Let's talk about that a little bit. This slide is probably familiar to many of you who work in organizations and are responsible for cybersecurity. Complexity has increased significantly over the past several years. You have highly distributed infrastructure. You have interests, companies, businesses around the world, not only in one country, countries, different regulations. You have hybrid environments. You have on-prem. You have cloud. You have both. You have data that is structured. You have data that is unstructured. You have data everywhere. You don't really know who has access to that data or how that data is used. You need to work with more and more vendors and more tools that are really not integrated in an ideal fashion. In fact, on average, customers have 30 to 50 different tools that they use across their organization for cybersecurity, including threat protection, cloud posture management, data security, endpoint, etc. This causes huge complexity. And of course, there's a related cost. So in this environment, it's really, really difficult to defend everything all the time. How can we help? Our philosophy is that if we can bring together all these tools into one platform and then infuse artificial intelligence in the form of a co-pilot to help the defenders, we can get to a point, first time in a long time, we can get to a point where we think that we can be on par with the attackers. Because don't forget, the attackers have many times unlimited resources, they are patient, and then they keep going and looking for vulnerabilities. The only way we can pick up that fight is if we start down the path of platformization, bringing all these tools together, integration, that will help automation, and then bring artificial intelligence into the picture so that these activities can be done at a much faster pace, in a much higher productivity, and in the end, leading to organizations being more secure. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. So how are we building a digital defense? Maria already mentioned that we're investing heavily in cybersecurity, 20 billion over the next 5 years. And think of that as we're investing in data centers. We're investing in infrastructure. We are investing in resources, both engineering resources and other capabilities. We have 10,000 security researchers. Those 10,000 security researchers are generating insight on threat actors and malicious activities and turning that into usable information that we provide to our customers. We are also investing in roles that we call chief security officers. Think of this role as CISOs. We're bringing on board a lot of CISOs so we can work directly with the customer CISOs and make sure that we understand exactly their focus and build that trust so that when there's a crisis, the customers understand that they can rely on us. So a lot of investment, and obviously that generates or drives the product innovation cycle that we have. We have a cyber defense center, and we are tracking more than 300 nation-state actors. These are actors from around the world, and we are tracking their activities. We are looking at the patterns which they use, and we leverage this and provide this information to our customers, also including mitigation steps that should be taken. We work with agencies, security agencies, and law enforcement agencies around the world to make sure that malicious websites are taken down, phishing sites are taken down, and just over the last 12 months, we've removed more than 100,000 domains that were used by cyber criminals. This only works if we collaborate. And as Microsoft, we collaborate across the world with many agencies and many other organizations who are intent on securing the world better. And of course, we work with many governments on regulation. Regulators have also started to really focus on cybersecurity. In fact, regulators have put in place many new rules which make CISO role, let me put it this way, more exciting in many parts of the world. Now, Maria already mentioned the 78 trillion signals, which, by the way, increases month over month. The point is not really around the number of signals, although the more signals we have, the better, because that feeds into the AI engine, so we can provide a better intelligence. But what matters is what we do with those signals. As a hyperscaler, we are one of the largest hyperscalers in the world. We protect 1.4 billion endpoints. We have significantly more than 100 data centers around the world. We have our own network. So it's not an exaggeration to say that we literally see what is going on the internet globally. And we use that information to synthesize and track the threat actors, and then put that into our threat intelligence platform, again, so that it can be used by customers to remediate any issues and understand really quickly which threat actors we're talking about. And last but not least, we are partnering across many, many partner organizations who augment the solutions that we have with industry-specific solutions, with services that they provide across our entire cybersecurity ecosystem. So what does end-to-end protection mean? Across threat protection and cloud security, across data security, compliance and governance, and identity management, we provide a platform that strives to cover all of the cybersecurity elements of an organization in an integrated way. These are built from bottom up in a way that they work together. Why is integration so important? Because integration is the foundation of automation. If you have an integrated system which is built together from the bottom up, then that allows you to automate certain tasks. That allows you to quickly identify attack vectors. That allows you to really clearly understand what is going on in the different subsystems without necessarily needing to build new connections and keep maintaining and upgrading those connections. And of course, there's also a cost element which integration helps to lower that cost. The Microsoft cybersecurity family, you can see that on the chart here, is made up of 6 main elements. Defender for threat protection, Sentinel for signals management, Entra for identities, Intune for endpoint management, Priva for privacy, and Purview for data security and governance. And we have many products that are underneath these product groups. Think of these as the brands that we have. And all of this, at the center of this, now, since we just released, is Microsoft Copilot for Security. And you should think of Copilot for Security as an AI platform for cybersecurity that we are building. You'll hear a lot more in the next sessions. Click down into Copilot for Cybersecurity. And then we also have the threat intelligence engine, which provides that insight and intelligence that I was talking about across all of the what we see going on around the world. Now, there's another important element here. You see the multi-cloud and multi-platform. We understand and we realize that not all customers are all in on Microsoft, and that's absolutely the reality. We strive to meet the customers, we strive to meet you where you are, which means that we provide cybersecurity services and protection for applications, for example, regardless of what cloud you are running. Most customers, most organizations run at least 2 clouds, some 3, some 4. It gets a bit more complicated then, but typically we have 2. So whether you have AWS or Azure or GCP, we can provide cybersecurity protection across those clouds. And we also protect multiple endpoints. So whether you have iOS, whether you have Windows at the endpoint, or you have Linux, we have services and solutions in our portfolio so we can cover that. So we're trying to meet the customers where they are and help integrate as much the ecosystem as possible. Now, a little bit of a click down on AI. So we just released Copilot for Security. Huge interest, by the way, across the board. We have many customers just in the last 2 weeks signing up, and there's a lot of excitement. So why is there a lot of excitement? Because today we are focusing on the Security Operations Center. And security analysts in the Security Operations Center have a lot of work to do. And as I mentioned earlier, there are many analysts that are missing. There are many unfilled roles. And if you're a senior security analyst, it took you a long time to get there. So while you can hire more junior analysts, those junior analysts need time to learn and get to the level of sophistication that others are there. So in this first stage with Copilot for Security, we are focusing on scenarios to help the Security Operations Center be more efficient and be more productive. And how do we do that? First, strengthening the security posture management. Copilot for Security helps with quickly identifying vulnerabilities across the entire ecosystem that you have. Not only identify, but address vulnerabilities and come with recommendations. And this, of course, is all based on natural language prompts. The prompt engine is being developed and growing day after day. As we have more customers and more scenarios, we are adding more capabilities in. The second area is driving faster incident response. With AI, we can achieve a speed of addressing incidents and identifying incidents which would require extremely large amount of human capability. So it really helps with the efficiency in identifying incidents and responding to those incidents in a real-time manner. And then the third scenario, and by the way, these are just the largest example scenarios, we have many more that we're working on, is security reporting. One of the things that security analysts like doing the least, but they spend a lot of time on, is creating incident report summaries to regulators, to boards, etc. With our customers who participated in our private preview program, we went through many of these scenarios, and we have some data. 63% of the time was saved on report generation with the use of Security Copilot. It was one of the most popular scenarios for the security analysts who participated in the private preview. So this is only the start. Again, we're at an early stage here with Copilot for Security. Where we are going, imagine a situation where Copilot not only identifies quickly what the incident is, not only can offer you remediation, but does the remediation in an automated way. And when you come back from the weekend, you have a report there. This is what happened. This is what I did. Here's the report summary. That is the next step in automation with AI. And ultimately, the direction where we're going is to make every organization more secure. So we're in the stage where we're talking about making the SOC Security Operations Center more productive, but our end goal is to make organizations more secure, leveraging the use of artificial intelligence. And of course, important to note that all the data compliance policies, all of what Maria mentioned around responsible AI, trustworthy computing, is included out of the box for Copilot for Security, since this is run on the Azure cloud. So everything, for those of you who are already using Microsoft services, whether that's Azure or M365 or any other service, and you're familiar with our privacy and compliance guarantees and data security guarantees, those all apply for Copilot for Security. In the end, the differentiation that we want to bring to the market and to all of the organizations that we work with can be really summarized in three ways. End-to-end protection, which is really the driver, the baseline for integration, having an integrated cybersecurity architecture. Industry-leading responsible AI, which we are achieving through Copilot, and really that unparalleled insight into the threat intelligence landscape, which we have across the hundreds of data centers and the billions of endpoints that we're seeing. These are really the three main differentiators in our strategy and how we are thinking of cybersecurity and how we want to make every organization more secure. Finally, a very important point is that even if you have all of this, this only works if we work together. We, as defenders, against the attackers, we all need to work together. And when I say we, that means government organizations, that means industry organizations, that means customers, and the large hyperscaler like Microsoft. We need to work together, we need to share information so that we can protect our assets and really build a better future for everyone. I'll leave you with that. Thank you very much.